If you're a man, I want you to imagine something. You're getting married to a beautiful lady. Lady's gorgeous, just like you like her, because I know some of you guys got different tastes than me. But she's just like you like her. And everything is good. You end up, what the clapping sounds? You end up with 2 kids, twins, right? And you love your wife and you're having a nice house and everything is going great. But you come home one day and you get confirmation that your dad is screwing your wife. And it's been going on for 4 months. What would you do? And stop the show. Your dad is still married to your mom. Right? Pretty interesting. It sounds like a Hollywood film, right? Yeah, it is, but it's a horror story. But that's exactly what happened to Katenacious. She's a lady, I don't know where she's from, but she's a lady by the name of Katenacious. And what happened with Katenacious is what I just described. She was married to that guy, and they had twins. Unfortunately, well, her mom started sleeping with her husband, and it happened for a 4-month term. I want you to listen to how she breaks this down of what happened, and then I'm going to come back.
Probably talk about some of the red flags that I saw before I actually definitively found out that the affair was happening. So one thing that kind of shifted and changed in their behavior was that when they would greet each other hello or say goodbye, instead of it being like a side, like pat, 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 like hello, goodbye, she would like wrap her arms around his neck and he would like swing her around in a circle to like say hello. He also started giving my mom foot rubs in front of me. On Valentine's Day, 2 days before I found out about the affair, he brought home flowers for me and for my mom. But the biggest red flag is that on multiple occasions, with multiple witnesses, my mother and ex-husband would say, you know, if Catherine and her dad ever were to tragically pass away simultaneously, we would totally end up together. So Catherine, how did you not cut ties with your mother and your husband right then and there the first time it was said? Because I'm an idiot. Because I was brainwashed my entire fucking childhood by that woman. I don't know. I'm dumb. I know. Hindsight, dude, 2020. So that's just like a handful of red flags. So why didn't I ever say anything? Why didn't I ever bring it up to my mom or my husband? Because I didn't want to believe it was happening. I didn't want to accept that the 2 people I trusted the most in this whole world could betray me like that. So I would make up any excuse I could for their behavior. I didn't want to believe it. But I finally knew I wasn't crazy when my grandmother, my mom's mother, came to me and expressed that she had a feeling something was going on between my mom and my husband.
So this is pretty interesting to me because, you know, if the mom didn't have a husband, it's still messed up, but, you know, we can see what happened, right? But no, the husband slept with the mother. The mother still married to her father. So many of us want to know, what did the father do when this happened?
Now, in the beginning, when it was the first few days after the whole situation, maybe even the first week, he was broken. He was confused, angry, frustrated, sad, betrayed, just like me. And so for that first week, maybe even week and a half, we were each other's rock. However, when my husband dumped my mom and she went running back to him because she didn't want to be homeless and wanted somebody's money to spend because she didn't work, he took her back. So fun fact, I'm actually a pastor's daughter. Technically, he's a worship leader. But my mother's been atheist for as long as I've known. She's always been open with me about that, but not with my father or necessarily the rest of the family. Some people, yes, some people, no. But my dad always got paid to be the worship leader of whatever church we attended. And so therefore, my mom needed to make sure that we behaved accordingly so that our dad could get that paycheck. And my father was oblivious to the fact that my mom was atheist. She never told him. And it's not like she said, don't tell your dad, but it's just not something that we ever talked about. So when everything was coming to light with the whole affair and that whole situation, I told my dad that this was the case, but he took her back anyway. In his eyes, he made a vow, and it would be going against his faith to not love and accept his wife because he made a vow to her. And eventually, when my little sister continued to support me and be on my side during this whole situation, while also living with my parents that are now back living together after this whole affair, my dad decided to kick her out of the house because she supported me. He kicked her out over the phone. This was a phone call that I was present for. He doesn't know I was present for it, but it was on speaker, so I heard the whole thing. And he ripped my little sister a brand new asshole, and was just evil and nasty. And I wish I recorded it, but I didn't. But my sister had asked him at one point, why are you choosing her over us, over your kids? How can you do this? To which he responded, I made a vow to that woman when I married her. I never wanted any of you kids. I don't owe you guys shit. And ever since, now the last year and a half, almost 2 years, I'm still constantly being reached out to by family friends saying, oh, hey, just so you know, your dad talked to me today about the whole situation, and he's saying all these mean, nasty things about you and thinks that it's your fault that the affair happened because you were this and you were that. But my dad doesn't realize that these people love me and care about me, so they come to me every time that he does this. He even did it as recently as last week. I'm sure he's probably found out by now about all these videos I've been making. And so he literally went into a mutual family friend's business place a week ago with the sole purpose of talking shit about me to him. And of course, he told me about it immediately. And he hasn't talked to this guy in almost 2 years, so it's definitely very weird. So yeah, I think my father is a doormat. I think that he kisses the ground that my mother walks on because he doesn't have a sense of self-worth or self-value, and he only finds his worth and value in how my mother tells him it is. Does that make sense? Hopefully that made sense. I just think that my dad doesn't have any balls, and when my mother left him, she took them with. Now, like I mentioned before, the affair that my mother had with my husband was not her first affair. She had many. But my father had only recently found out about these affairs about a year before the affair that she had with my husband. And he never left her during that time. Sure, they would sleep in separate beds and they weren't hardly talking, but he never left her even with all those affairs. So why would he now? Oh yeah, and last year in the summertime, this was a few months after the affair happened, I was driving on the freeway heading home from something, and mid-driving, I discovered that my father was in the car behind me with my mom. They were in the car, and I was like, oh wow, that's uncomfortable. And he ended up going into the next lane over so that he could zoom up and then get in front of me and then slam on the brakes, causing me to slam on the brakes and nearly running me off the road. So to answer your question about how my father reacted to the affair, he reacted by being a coward.
Oh my God. So the father, who is a worship leader at church, he's a praise pastor. He's, white churches, they be clapping off beat and stuff like that. But this is exactly what happened. Now, let me just say this. So after her mom sleeps with her ex-husband, the ex-husband dumps the mother. Oh my God. Let's point at the mother. Yeah. And you see those sandals she got on too, right? I'm not even going to just look at them. Just point the arrow over there. Yes, it's interesting over there. So the mom is now homeless. So the mom runs back to the dad, who basically took her back. But then the little sister that was supporting the sister, he kicks her out. So basically, the dad, who was pissed off at the mom for sleeping with his daughter's husband, takes the mom back and then turns his back on the daughter. Now, this lady just had Christmas, but this is how Christmas went, with the family having the issues like this.
2 years ago this month, my husband and mother started
an affair that would last 4 months. And today's Christmas, and it was a good day. And it was my second Christmas without having parents or most of my siblings. And I think back to the last Christmas I shared with all of them, not knowing that my husband, he's now my ex-husband, but at the time my husband and mom were actively having their affair. And I had no idea while opening presents and I decided a month ago to share my story about their affair on TikTok, and it went so viral, and I wasn't expecting that at all. And there was just so much outpour of kindness and support and love from so many of you guys. And so many of you really stepped up and were there for me and my babies. I'm a single mom of twin 2-year-old girls. And so many of you guys helped give them a Christmas miracle today, and they had such a good day. They had such a good Christmas. And hold on. I'm just so thankful to everybody that is following me on here, whether you got something from my kids or not. I'm so thankful to you all for listening to my story and validating me. And I'm so thankful for you guys for Christmas.
So imagine your mom can't come over because your mom slept with your husband, who is no longer in the picture because he's now your ex-husband. Your dad is now back with your mom, and if he takes your side, well, that means that he's against his wife. So she can't come over. And the other kids that are loyal to your dad also can't come over. And so now she's crying and breaking down because she's literally a single mom now with no husband. She has no family and no real support. But let me kind of rewind. Let's go back to the dad guy, right? I want to deal with that. It's very important for me. Men, let me just tell you something, man. If your wife sleeps with another guy, a guy that is your son-in-law, and she gets caught, if she has the unmitigated gall to even try something like that, she does not respect you at all. And let me explain something to you guys. She's already lost that respect a long time ago. The fact that she can even think about that and believe that, you know what, if I get caught, he'll take me back, and she's right, means that she doesn't respect you. But guess what? She'll even do it again because you're nobody to be respected. Now, I want to have a more of a serious conversation because a lot of us as men, it's easy for us to say, yeah, let her go, get rid of her and all of that, because we don't have any ties to the lady. It's easy to get on camera and say that I've done that. But you know what I've also done? I've also simped. I've also taken girls back for things that I said I would kick them out for, and or I would get rid of them for. And some chicks, you would do it for most of the chicks you're dealing with, but for the chick you really love and care about, you typically don't do that as much. You typically will take it off of her and take stuff off of her. But what keeps happening, man, is they disrespect you even more and more. They're gonna make you pay for taking them back. That's just a reality, and men need to understand this. Once a woman lets you down and she disrespects you and you take her back, she's going to make you pay for it severely when you take her back. Usually that's the case, and things get extreme. For an example, story time music. I had an employee before that I hired, and the employee had a hard time coming to work. The employee I was paying the rent. I was paying the transport. I was paying styling. I was paying a whole lot of stuff to, suffice this person. The person didn't have that many days they had to come to work. And that person liked to party a lot. They liked to hang out a lot. They were unaccountable a lot. But the person was extremely talented. And it's a person that I really was fond of in the business. This was, way back when, right? But what happened with the individual was whenever I wanted to get rid of that person, somebody would always try to give person another chance. And we would do that. The person would cry. The person would say they wasn't going to do it again. And every time we gave that person a chance, they would take it a step further. Like they would just stop coming to work on Wednesday or Thursday. They would do more. They would come in late. They would have their head down drunk. They would, just in the job, they would call out after being drunk. And so what the person was trying to tell me was, I don't care about your rules. And the only way you're going to deal with me is to remove me from your life, because I'm going to continue to fluster and frustrate you because you won't get rid of me. If you want happiness, get rid of me. And unfortunately, when it's a person that you are tied to and you really care about them a lot, you don't want to do that until you have to do that. And that's something that men have to do. You have to choose yourself over them, because whenever they did what they were doing, they chose themselves over you. So why are you giving them another chance to choose themselves over you when you don't matter to them? They don't care about you. Let them go and destroy, number one, their own lives, because that's what they're going to do. Some people love destruction. Some people love, anarchy, and they love just the downfall of everything they come across. You need to let them to go do just that. That woman, if she did it to me, as much as I could have loved her, has to be homeless now. You chose poverty, deal with it. In the cold. That's where you want it to be. Do that. Because if it's the other way around, she would have did it to him, I'm pretty sure. The fact that you thought it was cool to try me like that, suffer. Go let the person you chose over me help you. They don't want you anymore, deal with it. That's the only way to get respect from people, because respect is greater than love. Obviously, she doesn't love the guy and she doesn't respect you. So if it's about taking vows because you have a vow to forgive her, no, you don't. She broke the vow. You got the vow to get rid of her. And that's exactly what a lot of guys got to do. Not trying to say it's easy in the red pill communities. We always make it how easy it is to get rid of somebody that you have ties to or you have feelings for. It's not easy to do that when you love them. But who do you love more, yourself or them? If you had to pick one person to live on for the next 20 years, who are you going to pick? You better pick yourself. And if you got to pick yourself, they have to go right away. And sometimes people must go so you can live. Shout out to the lady for this, guys, that gave us the content, or we saw her content. Check her out on TikTok at Katenacious. We're out.